The Portland area real estate market just flipped big time, and most people have no idea it's happening. And this might lead to lost opportunities. What's going on right now is Portland's home prices and inventory just dropped, while 5 specific suburbs are seeing explosive growth in sales and infrastructure investments. What's behind the big shift? And how can you take advantage of this situation? I'm Will Van Wickler, and today I'm breaking down exactly which Portland suburbs are primed for massive evolution. I'll give you the data that proves it, and also show you how you can position yourself ahead of the curve, whether you're a buyer, investor, or working with clients in this market. Let me hit you with something that will completely change how you see the Portland market right now. Maine's single-family home sales jumped more than 10% year over year. So we've had 1,441 homes close with a median price statewide at around $425,000. That's nearly a 5% climb and the strongest June we've had since 2020. And it gets really interesting. Statewide inventory just hit over 5,000 listings, which is a 14% increase in a single month. This is great because we haven't seen supply at that level since late 2020. Now, Portland itself, totally different story. Median sales price in the city dropped about 12.9% year over year, landing at $590,000. Homes are still moving fast, about 19 days on the market, but there are fewer sales overall. Portland's crazy run of low supply bidding wars is starting to ease. Value is shifting outward into the suburb. The smart money is already paying attention, and you should too. Here's why it matters. When the urban market cools and the suburbs heat up, you get a short window. That's about 12 to 18 months where early movers can grab serious value before anyone else catches on. And we're standing right at the start of that window. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed. Maine's market moves incredibly fast, especially in these transitional suburbs. That's why I'm always breaking down the data that matters most to buyers, and you don't want to miss the next big insight. So now, let's talk about the suburbs that are set to explode and why the numbers back it up. Afterwards, I'll tell you how to think about these examples and why you should move quick. First up is Westbrook. Right now, it's Maine's fastest growing city with a population of around 20,600 people. It started booming in 2020, and this actually puts Westbrook ahead of every other city in the state. Median home prices here are running from around $460,000 to $514,000. Compare that to Portland's $590,000 median, and you are looking at an actual savings for homes that are often just as nice. But the real kicker? Westbrook's massively expanded fiber broadband access in 2025. Over 7,700 homes and businesses now have multi-gig internet. Combine that with the fact that Westbrook sits just minutes from downtown Portland via the Maine Turnpike and US 302. And you get a really good mix of suburban pricing and urban access. The downtown also blends old Milltown character with new development, so you get walkable neighborhoods that benefit from modern infrastructure. Now let's look at Cumberland. This is one of the premium suburban plays with around 9,000 residents and a median home price of around $625,000 for Cumberland County. That's definitely higher than some of the other options. But here's why this place still matters. Inventory here jumped 60% year over year in June 2025. Active listings rose more than 27%. When you see jumps like that in desirable area, it usually means buyers are circling and momentum is building. Cumberland has great access to schools, low-density neighborhoods that feel like true hamlets, and direct turnpike access. Lifestyle perks include the Twin Brooks Recreation Area, a 250-acre park with trails, soccer fields, and cross-country skiing. Add in convenient shopping and dining, and you can see why this suburb is gaining traction. Now, Freeport brings something different to the table. Median prices are sitting around $688,000. This is LL Bean's headquarters, which anchors a premium retail environment that pulls in tourists year-round. Add in harborside parks and outdoor recreation, and you start to see why people come for a visit and end up wanting to stay. Next is Falmouth. This is an elite option with median prices between $888,000 and over $1 million. Yes, that's higher than the others, but the trade-off is big. You get highly rated public schools, miles of waterfront trails, and close proximity to Portland International Jetport. For buyers who can afford the higher entry point, Falmouth delivers prestige, amenities, and a strong history of holding value even when the market shifts. Finally, South Portland, with about 27,000 residents and median prices from $520,000 to $600,000. South Portland combines good access to schools with harbor views that rival Portland's best neighborhoods. Nightville itself is one to watch. Median prices here run lower, so around $437,000. The area is quickly turning into a food and cultural hub with rapid access to Portland via the Casco Bay Bridge. That means residents are within a 10-minute drive or even a bike ride into the city. The Greenbelt Walkway is a well-established 5.6-mile trail system, adding a new level of walkable access throughout the neighborhood. And here's the exciting part. Knightville is in the middle of a master-planned redevelopment that includes mixed-use projects and pedestrian-focused street upgrades. When you have walkable neighborhoods with built-in cultural amenities, and you add long-term redevelopment, are usually looking at a 3 to 5 year value creation story that's just getting started. Speaking of long-term development, let's break down exactly what's going to fuel this suburban growth over the next year and a half. The first driver is affordability. We already saw Portland and the suburbs median home prices earlier, and Portland's price tag has a premium percentage compared to most of these suburban entry points. When you can get schools, the same amount of square footage, and more land for less money, it's actually a no-brainer for families and first-time buyers. But this is not only about what homes cost right now. We're looking at where values are headed, and Portland has very limited land available for new development and strict inclusionary zoning rules. This actually caps how much inventory can realistically grow. The suburbs, on the other hand, have room to expand, both in terms of available homes and overall value. If you're thinking this trend is temporary, wait until you hear about the long-term stuff coming up. But the second driver is remote work migration. Hybrid and remote work are not temporary anymore. They're here to stay. Buyers are now looking for space, schools, and walkability instead of being close to an office tower. These suburbs deliver exactly that. Westbrook, for instance, has the downtown walkability and high-speed fiber internet that remote workers want. Cumberland and Falmouth offer the school and extra space families are chasing. South Portland has walkable neighborhoods with cultural amenities that feel urban without urban prices. The third driver is infrastructure. For years, the trade-off of moving to the suburbs was longer commute and fewer conveniences. That's shifting really fast. Turnpike widening and new park and ride expansions along I-295 are shaving down travel times to Westbrook and Freeport. South Portland's Knightville and Mill Creek Master Plan is actively building mixed-use development and pedestrian improvements. When you eliminate the downsides of suburban living but keep all the upsides, property values tend to climb quickly. You usually see the acceleration happen over a 2 to 4 year stretch. And here's the last driver. Portland's cooling is setting up the suburbs for a perfect storm. Developers in Portland are targeting first-time buyers with starter condos, but projects are constrained by these zoning rules and limited land. That means Portland cannot easily expand to meet demand. The suburbs can, which is exactly why they are ready to absorb buyers who still want proximity to Portland, but also want better value. If that sounds like you, let me share my tips right now. So who needs to be paying attention to the shift? And how do you actually take advantage of it? Let's answer that, and I'll give you a 90-day action plan later on. First-time buyers and remote workers have the clearest opportunity right now. These suburbs are giving you a chance to get in before the crowd. Westbrook's walkable downtown condos and new construction projects are worth a look. The Twin Falls redevelopment is adding fresh inventory. Over 240 units of housing development transforming the former golf course. Cumberland's surge in listings gives you more choice and even some negotiating power if you're ready to move. The key is acting while there is selection before the competition really heats up. Westbrook's underused commercial corridors also offer a big redevelopment potential as the downtown continues to transform into a walkable hub. In South Portland, the city is putting money into public amenities through master planning. That's the kind of investment that always lifts nearby property values. Real estate professionals also have a huge role to play here. Inventory in Cumberland County is up to 675 homes. More choices even as demand stays strong. Statewide, new listings are up 18.3%, pushing supply to multi-year heights. This means opportunity is wide open for agents who can help buyers see the value in these suburbs, highlight the schools, the transit upgrades, and the lifestyle advantages compared to Portland's tighter, pricier options. Okay, so here's your 90-day action plan. Step 1, get pre-approved for financing. In competitive suburban markets, being ready to go is what makes the difference when the right home hits the market. Step 2, watch new construction permits in Westbrook and South Portland. The planning development dashboard will show you where the growth is about to cluster. Step 3, tour schools in Cumberland and Falmouth during the fall open houses. Strong schools remain one of the biggest long-term value drivers for suburban buyers. Step 4, get involved with local planning meetings, especially the Knightville Mill Creek redevelopment. Following the rollout of publicly funded amenities lets you position yourself ahead of the curve. Like you just saw, the data is clear. While Portland's urban core shows signs of cooling, suburbs like Westbrook, Cumberland, South Portland are experiencing the investments, inventory growth, and the buyer migration that signals growth. For serious buyers looking to move on these opportunities or any Maine coastal property, let's talk about your goals. Reach out to me, my email is in the description, and I can definitely help you out with specific guidance. And if Portland's transformation has you curious, you need to see what's actually happening in the city. There's over $660 million in coordinated development projects that's completely rebuilding the area before our eyes. So click here to watch that video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.